YouTube. How we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo. And this is another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Sunday, March 2nd, and we have a 9-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I have 3 highlighted plays for today. Let's go knock it out. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we did drop our one highlighted play. We took the Memphis Grizzlies laying 9.5 points against the San Antonio Spurs. Ja Morant was ruled out before game time, and the line moved to Grizzlies only laying 5.5. That being said, they lost the game outright, so the points didn't matter. Overall on the card, we did go 4-2 against the spread, so not a bad start to March, but let's go stack a highlighted win today. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. The Nuggets and Celtics game is going to start right as I upload this video, so I won't go too much into depth, but I am leaning towards the Nuggets getting plus money on the money line. Next, we have the Portland Trailblazers in Cleveland taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs are laying 11 points, and the total is 235.5. The injury reports are concerning for both sides in this one. On the Blazers side, DeAndre Ayton, Robert Williams III, and Matisse Thybulle are all ruled out. Then Denny Advia and Jeremy Grant are both questionable. On the Cavs side, Donovan Mitchell is ruled out. The Blazers injury report is more lengthy, but they've been playing banged up all season. They're currently on a 3-game win streak without any of these guys in the lineup. On the Cavs side, they are the deeper team, but they run through Donovan Mitchell. We saw the Cavs' huge comeback in their last game against the Celtics, and that took Donovan scoring 41 points. I think the Blazers have a legitimate chance to win this game outright without Donovan playing, but we're taking the Blazers plus the 11 as our first highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls in Indiana taking on the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are laying 10.5 points, and the total is 242. The injury report for the Bulls is concerning here. Nikola Vucevic, Ayo Dosunmu, and Patrick Williams are all out. Then Kobe White, Josh Giddey, and Kevin Huerter are all questionable. On the Pacers side, they will be without Benedict Mathurin. Even at full strength, I would lean towards the Pacers, but with the Bulls so banged up, I think the Pacers air them out by 20 plus. The Bulls have been competitive in spots, but at home in Indiana, I think the Pacers find some rhythm and get a dominant home win. We're taking the Pacers laying the 10.5 as our second highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the New York Knicks in Miami taking on the Miami Heat. Knicks are laying 6.5 points, and the total is 220.5. The Heat will be without Andrew Wiggins and Nikola Jovic here. I liked what I saw from the Heat in their last meeting. The game came down to the wire against the Indiana Pacers. That game was in Indiana. The Heat played solid ball down the stretch and got a 5-point win as underdogs. For me, I'm looking at the total in this one. The Knicks have played good defense all season. They're currently the number 4 ranked defense in the league, and while the Heat are middle of the pack on the defensive end, they score the 24th least points per game in the league. That would set up for the Knicks to air them out here, but the books seem to think that this is going to end within a 7-point margin. If this game ends within single digits, it's going under this total. Knicks and Heat is a rivalry-style game. I expect the Heat to turn up their defensive intensity, and unless the Knicks score 130-plus points, we're going to cash this under no problem. We're taking the Heat versus Knicks under 220.5 as our third highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Toronto Raptors in Orlando taking on the Orlando Magic. Magic are laying 7.5 points, and the total is 208.5. I do typically like to back the Magic at home in Orlando, and I did like what I saw from their last game against the Warriors, but 7.5 seems like a lot to lay against a Toronto team that stays covering spreads, especially on the road. I do lean towards the Magic in this one, but I'm looking at another total. If you've been around for a while, you should already know what side I'm going with in a total in an Orlando Magic game. The Magic have the number 2 defense in the entire league, while also scoring the least points in the entire NBA. Toronto scores the 23rd least points per game in the league, and while they don't play much defense, Orlando can barely score on an empty bucket. We're taking the Raptors and Magic under 208.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder in San Antonio taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Thunder are laying 13.5 points, and the total is 236.5. I haven't been able to figure out this Thunder team in the back half of the season. They failed to cover in every game I backed them, and the few times I fade them, then they get the blowout wins. Even in the blowout wins, it feels like they go on 20-point runs in the fourth quarter to barely get the cover, ending up being a sweat. The Spurs do fly into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, coming from Memphis back home to San Antonio. They did get an impressive win as 10-point underdogs last night against the Grizzlies. The game in Memphis was a hard-fought battle, though, and it came down to the final minute. So here on no rest, I do think the Spurs probably get aired out by 20 plus. I'm in no rush to back OKC laying these huge spreads, but I do think it's the right play here. We're taking the Thunder laying the 13.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the New Orleans Pelicans in Utah taking on the Utah Jazz. Pelicans are laying 7.5 points, and the total is 232. At first, I was surprised to see the Pelicans as such big favorites in Utah, but the Jazz injury report is extremely concerning. Walker Kessler, John Collins, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and Lauri Markkanen are all ruled out. The Jazz bench has hooped this season, considering a lot of these guys have been out for several months, but I can't expect their B team to come in here and compete with actual NBA starters on a nightly basis. Zion is back for this one, and I think the Pels get a comfortable win here. We're taking the Pelicans laying the 7.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the LA Clippers in Los Angeles taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Clippers are laying 3 points, and the total is 221. We're running this one back. We saw this matchup just 2 days ago, and the Lakers won 106-102. I had the Clippers as a play of the day on that day, and I let you guys know in that recap. They really should have won that game. James Harden shot 5 for 22 from the field, and they still only lost by 4 points. It makes me sick, but I'm back on the Clippers. They have double revenge here since getting handled twice in a row, and in my opinion, I think they're the deeper team than the Lakers. Me personally, I don't trust Luka. I think the Mavs traded him for a reason. There's no need for me to speculate, though. We're going to find out over the next couple of seasons. For today, I'm taking the Clippers laying the 3 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves in Phoenix taking on the Phoenix Suns. Suns are laying 2.5 points, and the total is 231. I like how the Wolves have looked since getting Dante DiVincenzo back. Their offense looks like it's found some consistency, and if Ant wasn't ejected in that Lakers game a couple games ago, they likely would have stacked a couple wins. On the other side, we know who the Suns are at home. As home favorites, they're now 6-15-1 against the spread. The Wolves get Ant-Man back here, and I think they have no problems winning this game on the money line. We saw Ant hooping on KD in the playoffs last year, yelling in his face and getting amped up. I think the Wolves take this match personally. We're taking the Wolves plus the 2.5 as our last and final selection of the evening. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We are 0-1 to start our highlighted on March, but we did go 4-2 overall on the card, so not bad, but I'm looking to stack 3 highlighted wins today. I greatly appreciate your support, guys. So again, thank you for tuning in. I do this for free every day, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.